Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. This is Ameen and welcome to episode 190 of the Mind Heist podcast. In this episode, we spend the first few minutes just talking about a few different apps, softwares, Qur'anly, this and that, new Qur'anly came out. We discuss a few little tools that we've been playing around with and trying out and using. And then for the rest of the episode, we talk about the earthquake that happened in Turkey, Syria, Lebanon area. Obviously, I live in Turkey, so I talk about my experiences, my observations of what I saw, obviously from a distance, not in the actual area. But there were some good observations and reflections we had, and that's what we focused on this episode. So, inshallah, it gives you some insight and also gives you some reflections from us to benefit. Enjoy. Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Bro, this is actually my favorite mug.
The Mind Heist mug.
Yeah, I just think it looks sick. This version of the logo, Yani, top. I also like the one with the MH, just MH.
Yeah, I think it's past the sell-by date for me. But that's because I'm...
You're too fidgety.
I can't stay still. I change my profile picture every week. I'm that kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, Elon Musk has changed Twitter and stuff, and every time you change your profile picture, you lose your blue check mark, and you've got to wait a few days for them to review your account and all this stuff.
Really, yeah?
Which really hinders my
creativity.
My switching personality.
Wait, so you actually have the check mark?
Absolutely. I'm a Twitter.
You're paying for it?
Yes, I'm a premium user of...
What, just for fun or what?
I thought we spoke about this before.
Yeah, but then they got rid of it since then. I guess they reintroduced it.
I don't remember them getting rid of it. No. I've had it since.
Okay, but it's been a month or two since then, so why do you keep paying, basically?
I like Twitter.
Okay.
I want to be a premium user. I like subscribing to things that are a waste of money. No, I like using. I even ChatGPT. Oh, I hate talking about it. We talk about it every episode.
Yeah,
but their premium thing launched in the UK. Although people were saying it was $40, but here it's $20.
No, it's $20. Yeah. It's $20 everywhere. Yeah.
Okay, in that case, well, yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, tempting. I can't think how much I would use it, but if I was using it, I would probably buy it.
Do you jump on that? Oh, you didn't jump on it?
No, I haven't needed to, but no, I can imagine if I was working and using it a lot at work, I would subscribe.
Honestly, as a business use case, because for example, for me, if we have 2-3 people in our business using it, $20, nothing. Bro, alhamdulillah bil alameen, yeah? When we started business, let me think of the software costs we had. We probably were paying, $100 for funnels, website builder kind of software. And then add another $30 somewhere, yeah? $130, yeah? And it was like that for a long time, yeah? I'm telling you, bro. Wait, where have I gone?
I booed you off. This is the Akhi Tweet show now.
My camera lost the connection or something. So,
no, he's back.
So yeah, for a long time, it was between $100 and $300 a month.
Yeah.
Bro, now we must be paying more than $1,000 a month. Maybe, I don't know, a lot, bro. There's let me think. So there's one, again, I'm booted off. There's our email marketing software that we joined that a long time ago, years ago, and so we had the old pricing. But now they said if you want to, when you reach further contacts and you have to upgrade again, you're going to have to get the new pricing. So we're going to end up paying $600-700 a month just for that. Yeah, crazy. And then we have this other new software we just got a few, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. That's $350 a month. So just those together now are going to be $1,000 a month. And then there's another one, I can't remember. Another big one, bro. So, this is maybe inflation as well, part of it.
You know that, bro. There's a lot of things like that, man. You just reminded me. Why does your camera keep going? That's one question I have.
I don't know. Wire.
Oh, bad
I'll
wires.
fix it while you talk.
Well, I have to apologize firstly because I'm very ill today. So, yeah, if anyone wonders why I'm like this. But you reminded me. Did you see Qur'an's new email thing update?
I saw that you shared it.
Qur'anly, I want to share it because I'm so excited.
Okay, really? Okay, nice.
Yeah, I just love things. I love things, you know? Let's hope this doesn't mess up the stream. Look at that. Getting free marketing from me. Qur'anly gets a complete redesign with a new, fresh and clean look. Look at all this UX designer paradise. Look at that. Look at all these rounded edges.
Solid.
We've been working with a new design agency for the last 3 months to make something awesome. This was also based on feedback from users. It's like they did everything I told them I wanted when Asa last came on.
Well, so, now you gotta pay for it forever.
I don't want some. I want it actually. I want to. Dark mode is finally here. Many of the big apps have it, but now Qur'anly does it too. Want something easy on the eyes? Just switch it on. Love a good dark mode. And this is it. This is the one we were talking about on the episode. Add friends and family. You can now add your family and close friends on Qur'anly and compete for good deeds. This is fully controlled by you and is only shown to people that you accept or invite. The leaderboard will rank you based on your reading for the week. Be careful though, you may encourage some to knock you off first place. You can also remind your family to read. That's so cool. When I saw that, I looked at my wife. I was like, it is on. It is on. Honestly, we were talking about this when we had him on, remember? And he kind of hinted like maybe it was coming, but you know. But I'm so excited for this feature. I don't know why I am. I think because Ramadan's coming, and it's because me and my mum and my wife would sort of kind of compete in Ramadan anyway, like who would finish the Quran first kind of thing. But this is, you know, the gamification of it is kind of cool. And then they've got these like so new reading screen with live tracking. So see your stats as you read. Now to visualize your progress, instead of reading just 3 verses, you may want to make that timer hit 3 minutes, so you can read by timer instead of just by verses, which is cool.
Have you seen this in the app, these changes?
No. So it's not out yet. I did clarify with Asa. It's not out yet. I just sent him a tweet. Sorry. This one's pretty cool. So we have new levels of your reading screen time we have new levels on your reading screen starting from 2 minutes all the way up to an hour plus. Complete break the egg, 2 minutes of Quran, or enter beast mode, 30 minutes of Quran. So I think the longer you read, the more sort of these badges you get, different badges.
Okay. I know that from Audible. You know, like when you listen to X amount hours of books, then they give you a badge and they give you this title or something.
Yeah. Daily streak and tracker, which is cool. That kind of self-explanatory. Just how many, you know.
So it's like they've got streak on multiple levels. So there's a streak for just the session, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you're going to go for 2 minutes or up to 30 minutes kind of thing. But then it's also streak in terms of every day, are you going to at least read, I guess, 1A or whatever?
Yeah, 100%. And then you got more secret features to come. Pre-order now. I need to double check about this pre-ordering stuff because I'm paying monthly. I never did end up getting a lifetime or whatever subscription. I kind of just
This is interesting.
I figured if I pay monthly, I'd be giving them more money. So I kind of kept it as that.
Bro, can you just put a fake email there and let's see what the pricing is like? Or let's see if there's even a lifetime option or...
I'll put my real email in.
Okay, sure. Up to you.
It's all right. There are no secrets.
Okay, so they've got Forever. Got Andy Forever. It's £60.
Worth it.
It says Qur'anly 2.0 will be out just before Ramadan, inshallah. You'll have this. So this is all lifetime memberships.
I just don't know.
Too cheap.
I don't know if it's a new app or if it's an update of the old one. If you know what I mean, because I'm already paying monthly. So what happens? That's the only thing I'm questioning.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll need to
But
ask Issa maybe.
you know, I might even jump on this, even though I said before that, you know, I don't know if I need it, this and that, but maybe it's just worth a £60. I don't know, just throw it out there, just little support them, like 50% support them, 50% I might start using it. Because I actually have been reading Quran in my phone recently, you know, so maybe it'll be worth.
This is just exactly what the app needed. This redesign is so nice. Look how pretty this is.
Is it as good on Android though?
I don't care. It doesn't really. No, I don't know. No, inshallah, it should be.
Probably, yeah.
It just looks. I don't know what's happening here. Why is all that backwards?
Yeah, it's just part of the
something.
design thing. But I can see how, you know, when he was on the podcast, he was talking about how he like just pretty much reinvests everything into the app.
Yeah.
And I can see that, you know, I can see that.
So
because what did he say? He said the initial build cost, was it 15K, 25K, something like that, right?
We'll have to go back to the episode.
Yeah.
I think so.
Like, so now when he goes to like a top design agency and all that, I can see that being another, whatever, you know, another 10K, 15K, whatever. So, yeah.
The theme, you know, it's professionally done, isn't it? And I guess I'm wondering here if it will go up more. Only 200 available at 50% discount. These are the same prices I saw when I first clicked on it the day I got the email. So unless it's going to go up in price, you know what? I could get this. I'll get this later. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I should just get it. I don't know. I'll get it later, maybe. I don't know though. I need to check because I want to know if it will update.
How much are you paying monthly right now?
It's about £5, I think.
Oh, so £60 would be a year.
But I just don't know if the reason I want to know if it updates is because obviously my wife's going to need one. My mum would want one, and I don't know if there's going to.
They have a family option.
Yeah, that's the only my only criticism at the moment is just that I can't understand that information from the email nor from this. Is whether it's going to update or this is a whole new app 2.0.
Bro, you know, I think they're doing something dodgy. Yeah, it's funny. This is funny.
Dodgy.
So you know when you have an app on the App Store, you're supposed to. It's like not allowed. It's against the guidelines, whatever it's called, to charge people for your app outside of the App Store payment thing, right? But look, the way they're doing it is they're charging you here.
You can pre-order here, yeah.
Yeah, so you would buy here, right? This is through a normal payment processor, Yani. And then they would probably give you a redemption code or something.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so they're avoiding that 30% or whatever you have to pay to Apple or Google.
Yeah, you're right. But then a lot of companies try and bypass that.
That's cheeky. Yeah, but I'm guessing it's just the huge ones that get under scrutiny kind of thing. If you're small, like Quranly, like you fly under the radar, you know?
Yeah, it's up to them, isn't it? Just use your email and they'll authorize your email address probably. I remember like Fortnite and Epic Games and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly. Lawsuit. Yeah.
Anyway, that's Quranly 2.0. I'll try and find out from Issa. I think the last time I checked on Twitter, he said they're 80% done with this, so it'll be launching soon, inshallah. I might just wait it out and see when it launches and how it launches before I dive in.
That's really good, bro. That's really good. Because I've seen some other apps like it's like kind of like trying to build Islamic habits, worship habits. And I feel like, firstly, the appeal wouldn't be there so much with something more general, right?
Yeah.
And also, the scope is just huge compared to, let me add myself over here. The scope is huge compared to just Quran. So just zooming into Quran and making that as a habit, I think that was a very clever move, mashallah.
Yeah, and that absolutely the best benefit from that for me is the ability to compete with your friends and family, people you trust, because your intention is to gain reward, and that's very clear by the hasanat counter, for example, the good deed counter. And you're not going to share it out in the world. Look at me, you're sharing it with people that are there for the same thing. So I'm competing against you. I'm not just showing randos how much Quran I've read today, kind of thing. So I think, yeah, because we were worried initially when we discussed it about like intentions and that kind of thing. But I think, no, if you keep it, if it's a closed profile and you can only share, and the person you're sharing it with is also sharing with you, yeah. So inshallah khair, I'm looking forward to Ramadan and looking forward to using it, bi'idhnillah.
I like that. There's another software actually. I started using this. I'm just trying it out. This software. For a while I was like geeking out in terms of like productivity methods and strategies and blah blah blah, time management, all that. I kind of just left that to the side for years now because I kind of just found my way of doing stuff and blah blah blah. But recently, I tried this new software and it's got. I mean, they say it's AI. I don't really know where the AI element is with this, but basically, so my way currently where I like how I manage my tasks or whatever I've got to do, I've just got a list of stuff I do for the week, and then every day I pick like 3 or something of them, and then I say I'm doing these today, and I try and do them. But this app, what it does is you input your habits, like regular things, and when you input your habits, for example, like even a habit such as having lunch, just as an example, having lunch, you would give it boundaries that are flexible. So you would say, I would like to have lunch between 12 and 2 p.m. But ideally, I would have it at 1 p.m. Yeah. And then you say, okay, lunch takes whatever, half an hour and this and that. You give it these parameters. So you put your habits in, and then every week you would put your tasks for that week in. You could do it per day or per month or whatever, but I'm doing it per week. Then what it does is, it knows your work hours, it knows your personal hours, it knows when you want to do meetings and other times where you're not open to doing meetings. And it basically then will just plan your whole day for you, right? You just give it the parameters and it's like, okay, this is what you're doing today. It'll kind of tell you. And if, for example, because the problem with this time blocking or whatever concept is, imagine I say 9 to 10 a.m. I'm doing this task, but that task actually takes 2 hours. Or I just don't do it for whatever reason. It's very rigid, isn't it? But what this does is if you don't do it, it will just reschedule it for tomorrow or later today, or, you know what I mean? It's more flexible and it does it for you. You know, it's not like you have to reshift your calendar around, because that calendar stuff, like between 3:51 and 3:57, I will be, that's not realistic, is it? Yeah. But what this does, it will rearrange things for you, kind of thing. So I've been playing around with it. I've been having a bit of fun with it. And it's quite good, actually. Let me see. Like, I only used it for a week, so I might actually start using this like ongoing.
You're a cyborg now. You're letting the technology into your body, into your mind.
To my body.
Before you know it, you'll be Neuralinked up, and you'll just be beep boop boop. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
We don't even need to do the podcast, just telekinesis.
100%. Before you, I mean, have you been seeing these deep fake audio things as well? They've combined. Yes. God, we talk about AI every episode, don't we? But there was like audio stuff now, so they can AI generate audio from particular people. So like I saw a Joe Biden one, I saw a Trump.
I'm sorry to ruin it, but that's old.
Is it? But they combined it with the deepfake stuff at the same time.
Yeah. I saw that one. Was that the one with the Elon Musk and all that?
I don't know. I saw one earlier.
It's like Elon Musk, and it looks like he's on like a shareholder meeting or whatever. And then he's saying something that you would think he might say.
I saw one that CoffeeZilla posted. That's the one. It was Joe Rogan and who's that scientist guy? He's always on Huberman. So they were both. It was as if they were in a podcast. It was an advert, by the way. So whoever's done it has basically used it to market their own supplement. And they've basically made these two guys, Joe Rogan, have a conversation bigging up this supplement, and it's an ad that plays on like Instagram or something.
But the one that came out, that were like a lot of people were talking about is on podcast.ai, where they made a interview between Joe Rogan and Steve Jobs.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
And the whole conversation was created by AI, like even what they were saying, so the script of it, but also the voice. So yeah, there's that.
We should release one. We should release a whole AI episode and see if anyone notices.
Well, you know, the software that we use to edit these podcasts, it allows you to kind of deep fake your own voice if you want, you know. So you
Yeah, it
could
does, yeah.
you give it some audio of yourself, and then you could type a whole paragraph, and it will speak that for you. And to be honest, I've used it actually for these podcasts sometimes, but it sounds all right. Actually, it sounds all right.
Oh yeah, you fill in gaps as well. Or want to change your
Yeah,
word that you
exactly.
said.
When you
Yeah, I
fill in
remember.
gaps, no one can tell. Like when it's 1-2 words here and there, no one can tell. Yeah.
I need to re-listen to our episodes, see what you've changed. I wouldn't even realize, would I?
Oh yeah, subhanAllah, because I could. They've got some sort of security built in where you can't just take anyone's voice, apparently. But maybe I could with you because I don't know. I've got so much of your voice. No, there must be a way that they stop
Oh,
you.
that's the risk. If we were big and we were a target for people, bro, we'd be ruined. We'd be deep faked and AI'd and all sorts of stuff. It will happen like sooner. I mean, it's happening now with big celebrities, but it's only going to grow and grow as the technology gets more.
Well, did you see? You know that
available.
Twitter thread you sent me?
Yeah, the one where the Dan one.
Yes, the Dan one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
in that thread, there was that video. Did you watch the video? It's like 4 minutes long, and it's like it looked like Metal Gear Solid or something.
Oh yeah. I watched a bit
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Was that Metal Gear Solid? I don't know. It just reminded me.
It was
of
Metal Gear, but I couldn't tell if it was real or not. I never played that particular game.
that. Okay. So I thought that was very interesting. That whole conversation.
Yeah,
I might as well explain it, Yanni, since we're talking about it. So it was a conversation between two people from a video game, but the idea that they were talking about was interesting. So it's basically as more AI generated text, video, speech becomes like widespread, more and more common, you won't be able to know if something is real or if it's generated by AI. And so that would be the excuse for certain authorities, whether governments, whether one world government, whether whatever, to attach a kind of unique fingerprint, if you like, to every piece of content generated online or posted online. And then everyone would need an ID as well, a human ID, their own personal ID, and it would link it to the content you produce. And then they'd be able to say, okay, this is verified, it's a human that did it, right? And that would be the way that they could, A, verify if it's human or AI generated, but B, then what comes next is the whole verification, misinformation and disinformation thing, right? So then it becomes like, okay, because you can generate all this stuff with AI, people can't believe anything anymore. So now we need one authority to be able to say this is real or it's fake. Yeah.
Crikey, Mikey.
So imagine like Joe Biden, he says XYZ, oh, we're going to blow up Russia. Like now to avoid war, whatever, you need to have, okay, did he say it or did he not say it? And naturally you would need one authority to be able to say it is real or it's fake. And then, in the video clip, they were saying the internet has been too free for too long. And these, powers that be, they found a way to take back control. And it's through their ability to, their unique ability to say fake or real,
Yeah.
And it can, everything you say can be tracked back to your unique identity. And so censorship then would become like easy and justified and all that.
We're living in a weird time, bro.
Absolutely.
There's all sorts of things in the sky as well. There's stuff getting shot down. Today there was that Chinese balloon thing the other day.
Yeah.
But now there's like three other things that were shot down today. Mystery surrounds objects shot down by U.S. military. What's going on?
I read an article about these Chinese spy balloons or whatever they are, spy balloons or maybe not. And they were saying like China's been developing these balloon things for a long time, and it's like they got tons of them, and it's kind of well known. It's not like a new phenomenon.
I'm not buying it, bro. I'm sorry. I don't.
You want to believe it's UFOs, isn't it?
It's not that I want to believe. I know what even UFOs and stuff, like a lot of it I think is inside jobs and stuff like that. Yeah, there might be like jinn elements to it. I watched the whole Imran, what's his name? Imran Hussein and the other brother from my era. He did a whole episode on these kind of things, jinn and UFOs and stuff.
Yeah.
Epistemics on his channel, Epistemics, I believe it is. I was listening to that on the drive home. Yeah, they were talking about all the kind of things I was thinking of, which we've spoken about before, like UFOs and jinns and the crossover and all of that stuff. And and he was talking actually about the relevance now with UAPs and all this normalization of it in the governments, world governments, and stuff like that. But yeah, all these, it's just weird things, weird times. And to be honest, I bet you a lot of these weird things and weird kind of phenomena were occurring back in like pre-World War II or during World War II and stuff like that. So yeah, I just don't know what to believe, man. But what I will say is that I don't think China's like that dumb. Send a balloon over with a camera on it and say, "Oh, spy on." Like, you've got Chinese people in America, you can just use them, right? Or whatever. Like
we got spy satellites, of course.
Yeah, you've got. What are you gonna do? Like, put a balloon over. What's it gonna tell you? Oh, they got planes. Oh, there's a Jeep over there. The military's got a Jeep. It's not going to tell you that much. I think I don't know. I just think a lot of it is just sneaky business going on, and you'll never know the truth. But who am I? I'm just a guy with a cold,
with a what's it called? Dressing gown on.
Yes.
Do you actually wear dressing gowns?
I did.
Or do you just put it on when you're ill?
No, because like, I don't know. I don't know, man. My mum bought this for my father, and he passed away before wearing it too much. So she gave it to me. So I'm wearing it. Maybe it's sentimental value. Maybe I just like wearing it.
What's the point of it? Is it to keep you warm?
And I can just take it on and off very easily,
But I mean, I don't know. I just wear a hoodie or something.
But I'm like hot and cold, bro. I got like a flu or something. I don't know, man. Anyway, look, all of this stuff we've spoken about isn't been what I wanted to ask you. Okay. What I wanted to ask you, bro, is last episode we recorded it, but afterwards a big earthquake happened in Turkey and Syria, which has been very, very, very sad, very, very sad. And may Allah grant all of the shuhada Jannah al-Firdaus al-A'la, and it's one of the narrations of the Prophet ﷺ is of those who are granted the death of a martyr, or granted martyrdom is somebody who a building or a wall or some sort of building collapses on them. So may Allah accept them as shuhada, and may Allah cure the injured, grant them shifa, and make it easy for those that are left behind without anybody left for them. Their children without parents, and so many videos and stuff coming out. Obviously, you're in Turkey, but you're far from, I think, where any damage was caused. Although there was a few people concerned about your welfare and stuff, me included, initially when we heard the news. But can you tell us a bit about what it's like in Turkey at the moment? If you've seen anything, if you felt a difference, or
in Turkey there is. I was saying to my wife actually that, when you're in a country or in the country where something like this is happening, you don't understand, personally anyway, I was struggling to understand whether this earthquake is a big deal outside of Turkey as well. Sometimes something might be a huge deal. Like, I heard of what was it, a month ago, there was floods in Pakistan.
Yeah.
So for people in Pakistan, that's like awful, but for me, it was one headline I read, and then, I kind of got on with my day, and I kind of didn't hear about it again. But in Turkey, it's huge. Yeah, it's a huge, big deal. And now I think I'm realizing that even, in the UK and elsewhere, people are hearing about it a lot, and it's a very big deal elsewhere. And when it first struck, it's like, okay, it's an earthquake. It's common in Turkey to have earthquakes, but now I really, it was maybe 2 days in when there were maybe 15,000 reported dead.
Yeah.
Not reported dead, actually, like, confirmed dead.
Right.
Then I was like, okay, this is one of the big ones, because the last big one in 1999, 18,000 died. And so I was thinking that if in just 2 days they confirmed 16,000, then okay, I know this is one of those very big ones, Yani, and it's gonna be crazy. But again, I never actually zoomed into an earthquake event like this in my life before and like knew about the details of it, you know. The last one I remember was the tsunami one, you know, which hit Indonesia and India, and that, you know, that was 2004 or 6 or something.
Right.
That's the last one I remember where it was like a really big deal and all that. But in Turkey, yeah, like everyone's involved in something. Everyone's sharing messages around how, okay, this is a drop-off point for anything you need. This is people are loading up this lorry if you want to help. People are doing this, people are doing that. So it's very much like that, like very active. Even one kind of charity center, they have a depot here where they were already like helping out the poor in the area. They've obviously become very active in giving stuff, sending stuff over to the area where the earthquake happened. And when I went there, it was packed, you know. Normally there's not that many volunteers, but there were so many volunteers, mashallah. And just people dropping off stuff all the time, clothes and all that. And even like over here, like near my house, like this charity, like I never heard of them before and stuff. They're like, yeah, we've got a lorry on the way. And there were people dropping off clothes and stuff, just kind of in the street in a way, like someone must have offered his shop, like you can just store the stuff in my shop. And then people the shop got full. And so people are just dropping off near the shop, and there's like a lot of stuff. And it was there for a couple of days because they kept trying to, where's the lorry? Then the lorry came, and then they're like, okay, we need help to pack it all up. And so everyone seems to be involved in some way, whether they're dropping off a few T-shirts, whether they're giving money, whether they're going, you know, even people going over there. They were taking volunteers over there. They were offering flights and stuff to send people over to help. But I think that closed up quite quickly. There were a lot of volunteers who were willing to go and stuff. And just the other day, actually, I saw someone I knew in a coffee shop. I went to say salam, and he was sitting with brothers from a charity from the UK who were like, I don't know, they seem to be planning out something before they actually go to the area. Yeah. So obviously everyone's passing through Istanbul to then go on to that area, Adana and Hatay and all that. So yeah, and also the fact that the schools are closed here until at least the 20th of February. First they closed them for 7 days, but then they said, no, we just close them till the 20th, which means there are a lot of kids. I don't know why they did that actually, but I thought maybe it's because some of these kids, or maybe the parents, could be freed up to go and help or something. I'm not sure why, but because there are a lot of kids off school, I think there's this vibe where people are kind of freed up to then volunteer however they can.
Of course.
But it's crazy, bro. It's a really big one. It's really big. One thing I learned the other day is the difference. So the magnitude of earthquakes, or whatever it's called, Richter scale, is that what it's called? It's actually logarithmic. So the difference between 6 and 7 on the Richter scale is 7 is 10 times more than 6.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So I think if you saw it on a graph, it's like exponential, right? So that tells me that 7.8 is really strong, Yanni.
Yeah. Was it something you noticed when it happened?
No, I did not feel it. I don't know what time of day it happened, though. Do you know?
It seemed to be early hours of the morning. Everyone was asleep.
Since I've been here, I only felt one earthquake.
Yeah.
I only felt one earthquake, even though since I've been here, though, there was one in Izmir, there was one in Düzce. And Izmir is pretty far, but Düzce is 4 hours drive from us, not that far. But it was 4 point something, I think, so it wasn't the strongest. But I felt one. Maybe it was the Düzce one. But yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't feel this one. Although I wouldn't be surprised if I did, because of how powerful it was, Yanni.
It could be that you did and you weren't aware. I mean, I recall, not that it's anywhere close to what's happened, obviously, but I remember being in Tunisia once, and there was an earthquake in Tunisia, but for some reason everybody around me noticed and felt it, and I didn't. Yes. I don't know why. I was in front of a shop, just hanging out with my dad, a few other people. Then everyone was like turning around. Oh my god, did you feel that? Did you feel that? I didn't notice. I was walking, so I don't know. I didn't notice.
Yeah, I had the same happen to me because I never felt one before, and my wife had. So she told me, "Oh, that's an earthquake," and then I started paying attention. I realized, "Oh yeah, the building's shaking."
Yeah, subhanallah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's you're right. I think there's been a lot of outpouring of not just du'as, but also action and collecting for people. I mean, all the masajid in my local area have been sending out all sorts of text messages and stuff, organizing collections and stuff like that. Clearly, social media is full of news and posts and activity about how we can support and raise money and news coming out of there. What else? I've noticed also, like, I've got a lot of friends from Tunisia that are on Facebook and stuff. My local village and stuff, and even they're doing the same. It's clear that I feel like the Muslim world in general has a lot of love for Turkey and the Turkish people, and Syria as well. Let's not forget Syria. No doubt, Syrian people, especially of that region, have been through so much. I think that's the difficulty they have, is that they've been embroiled in that war with the regime for so long, and then this on top of that. And I think I think it's really important to have the right perspective when you look at these kind of situations. Some people lose hope. Some people start questioning Qadr Allah, and actually, you need to realize that actually a lot of these people, bi'idhnillah, shuhada. It reminds me of that narration, and I can't recall it from the top of my head, but it's essentially the man who will see another man's status in paradise and want to go back to the dunya and like slice up his hands because he wants that reward, right? So be positive in thinking that these people have a phenomenal reward that we cannot compare in the afterlife. And actually the test is for us to see what we're going to do, because we'll be questioned about, this was worldwide news. You didn't miss it. It was right there in front of you. What excuse do you have for not helping, even if it was a few pennies, a few pounds? But no, yeah, definitely. I think I saw a lot of rescue teams from all over the world. Algeria sent a team over, Tunisia sent a team over, Sudan, Qatar, a lot of countries.
Almost every country. Yeah, there was a infographic I saw, and again, I can't verify the accuracy of this, but they were like they listed the countries and the number of people they sent.
Yeah,
and the number one was Azerbaijan, which is a tiny country, right? They sent 745 or something people.
Wow.
Obviously, Azerbaijan is very close with Turkey, so I guess that's why. But yeah, that stood out to me because Azerbaijan is so small and stuff. And then you had something made me proud as well. Algeria, they actually broke the sanctions. Syria's under sanctions. Yeah. They're like we're sending people anyway. So they sent people and aid to Syria and Turkey.
Yeah.
And then when they broke the sanctions, a day or two later, then the UN's like, okay, we'll make an exception kind of thing. To get aid in. But Syria, like, as bad as it is in Turkey, and it's the damages, devastation, I just feel like Syria is so bad, because I know that the Turkish government, is a big country. They got funding, they got stuff, and also they expecting earthquakes generally, and so you would imagine. I know they have a whole government department that's for disasters and stuff, and you would imagine they have plans, they have training, they have all of this. Yeah. But then you think of Syria, and it's like, firstly, Syria's smaller country, smaller budget. They've been at war. Whether it's the government and their funding being lower, or whether it's these the opposition or rebel-held areas having no funding, no government. Either way, it's like you can imagine it's going to be very difficult. And that's why when you look at the numbers of confirmed deaths on Turkey versus Syria, it's so much higher in Turkey, probably because they're digging rubble way faster than in Syria. And Syria's...
They haven't got the tools. They haven't got the machinery.
Everything. They're going to be doing everything so much slower, less of...
Yeah, if you follow the white helmets, They're white helmets. Obviously, they're a volunteer organisation that obviously their expertise and their experience is digging people out of bomb sites, essentially. Unfortunately, so there was actually quite a few documentaries on them, even like Hollywood style documentaries as well, or like Netflix, yani. They're active 24/7, digging people out, and sometimes you can feel useless not being able to support. But a lot of brothers, even on Twitter, a lot of, I don't know what you want to call them, influencers or whatever, they're heading over there. They're out there at the moment. I think it's what is nice is to see that kind of unity and to see
For sure.
how borders melt away, and like you mentioned, that Algeria bypassing those sanctions and stuff. It just shows you the people still love each other. Muslims are still there for each other, but in Billah, they still hurt for each other, and it's good to have that, because I think what we can get distracted by and caught up in is the politics and the governments and this and that and this ruler and that leader and this president, blah 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 blah, and it's not always reflective of the people, right? I mean, look at Morocco and Algeria, governmentally and politically, always at each other's throats. But look at me and you, or look at the people. I'm sure if something happened in Zaire, the people would want to help, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's not all doom and gloom.
No, there's definitely a lot of good signs. Even the response from some of the people that you see shared around is really positive, Yani.
Yeah.
People, Yani, there's people, you see them, whether they feel they're in danger or they're grateful for surviving, and what's on their lips is, on their tongue, is Shahada or Quran or this or that.
Yeah.
So, alhamdulillah, yeah.
SubhanAllah. No, I think it's important because it just shows you how, firstly, it shows you the might and power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? The ability to just absolutely transform an entire landscape in mere moments. And what is a home but what you consider safe and secure? You lock your doors and you don't expect anyone to barge in. You don't expect the walls to just suddenly cave in and stuff. And it reminds me of that in relation to death. Even if you're like in a castle all boarded up, death will still find you, right? And it's important because a lot of those people, you went to bed that night and you had no idea. A lot of people had no idea.
Yeah.
So
actually, something I was thinking about is, in Aleppo, Halab, they've been, under constant airstrikes, barrel bombs, all that for years. Okay. And some of the drone footage of Aleppo is just devastation, Yani, right?
100%, yeah.
But even then, this is next level, Yani. When you see the videos of Aleppo, it's like every building has holes in it, has damage to it. Every building almost. But they're standing, they're still standing. But when the earthquake hit, now entire buildings are just gone.
Yeah. No doubt. I was actually going to just show some while we were
okay,
talking
right, yeah.
about it.
Let me put that up.
This Turkey. Yeah, look at that. SubhanAllah.
Yeah,
people live in there, people in those houses.
Yeah, nothing left.
People want to. There's a lot of people obviously trying to blame, or pointing fingers or whatever, this and that. And to be honest, what's happened has happened. Obviously, if there are misdealings, Allah will bring people to justice. For avoiding or trying to bypass building regulations, all this stuff. But look, people are using. Look, that guy there is using a hammer just to try and get through.
Yeah, because you can't just come with a bulldozer, right? Because there's people there.
Yeah, and it's not like you're going to know that they're in there.
No.
There was one poor boy that I saw a video of. He was, I think he was mute, if I remember correctly. So he would scream out even if he wanted to let people know that he was in there. It's just such a. And the thing is, like, there's a bit of a. there's a bit of a bad stereotype, I think, when it comes to Muslims. The way we judge each other, we think we're disorganized and we think we can't do anything, right? But look at this. This requires a large scale organized effort to achieve this sort of stuff, right? To actually organize these kind of rescue missions. But I think the great unifier, I think, oh, you've got like multiple angles here. Is that a third guest we've got? Oh, it's you.
Trying to fix it, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, no, the great unifier is actually across levels of religiosity, I think, because you'll find when calamities like this strike, you find the people that were a bit distant from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala get closer. The people that are close to Allah get closer to the people that weren't as close to Allah, so to speak. A lot of good comes out of stuff, as much as it looks bad. A lot of good does come out of these kind of calamities, so it's important to focus on the good bit in there and try and springboard into that.
I actually was, again, I never lived through this kind of thing before, like witnessed it, but I was really kind of surprised in a good way, like how many people just willing to just help, you know? And what I witnessed just in my locality, it seems like that is happening all over the country, you know? Like every school, every market, every like kind of central location kind of building, they seem to be collecting stuff. And by the way, I think the main thing that is needed is stuff to do with warmth, right? So if you could give socks or like jackets, and this is the thing, like I could buy 10 t-shirts or I could buy one jacket, but the one jacket is needed. The t-shirts might not even be needed, to be honest.
100%.
So personally, I like avoided giving stuff, even though, you know what they did over here? Like, for example, I'm trying to think of in the UK, let's say, what's like a kind of like Primark or something a bit better than Primark. The equivalent of that in Turkey, they set up this thing where you can go online and buy clothes and they'll deliver it. And all the clothes were discounted.
Right.
So you buy it and then you check out and it will be at a heavy discount and they just send it straight over there. So that kind of stuff was cool. And a lot of different businesses did that kind of stuff. So that was cool. But personally, like in terms of giving clothes and stuff, I was questioning whether I already knew what I was doing. Like, am I giving the right thing? Is it just a waste of time? So I just thought money is better and give it to a charity. And the charity is actually directly in touch with the government and they're like, know what's needed. I think a lot of what is needed is heating or fuel for heating and stuff to do with keeping warm, yani. And of course, food is needed. Someone who has no home, right? You can imagine, and some people, by the way, there's like hundreds of thousands, I think, that are homeless. And it's not just that their home is demolished. It's that they can't go in the house until they've checked that it's safe to go in. And so every day they're going to the buildings that are still standing and they're doing checks and then they're clearing it for people to go in. So imagine you lost your home. You don't have maybe your personal documents. You don't have money if you had cash, yani. If your bank card even was in the house, then you can't even access ATM and this stuff. You don't have, your job is probably gone, right? Because the building's gone, everything, right? And then clothes, warmth, all this is gone. Any cooking equipment, all that's gone. So even eating, yani, you know, is something people need every day. They need food, yani. So that's why it's like if you give money, then they can buy what's needed. And I'm not talking about give anyone money. I'm talking about like specific. Like I know certain Turkish charities who are in touch with the government and it's all being coordinated in what seems to be like very organized way. So that was the other thing actually I witnessed is how organized some of these guys are, man, mashallah. Like the way they're, like I saw both sides, you know. I saw a charity that has experience in doing this stuff. And I saw some random brothers just trying to fill a truck up and send it over to Syria, right? And the way is completely different, yani, you know? So over in the charity, they know exactly how to fill stuff up in a way where it's going to be so efficient. It's going to take up the least amount of space. And they know how to load it up onto a crate kind of thing so that it will fit nicely into a lorry and it will be quick to unload it and quick to offload it. They're thinking even about the order of what should go at the back of the lorry, so it's going to come off
Right.
last, and what should come off first, and they're thinking about all this stuff. And then there was these other brothers, not necessarily a charity, just like trying to do their best work, and it was mayhem, bro. Like the difference was huge. The way that they loaded, and it's not their fault. Like they don't know. I couldn't do a better job myself.
Yeah.
But the way it was loaded, it was like 30% of that lorry's capacity was wasted by the way, just the way it was packed.
Yeah.
So this made me realize, open my eyes to how, when they say like, oh, I'm not going to give money to whatever big charity because they pay their CEO 6 figures and all that. I'm going to go myself and give the thing myself. It opened my eyes to that, the fact that these, not all of them, I'm sure, but certain good charity organizations, they've got experience, and the experience and the know-how ultimately saves so much. It saves food from spoiling. It saves clothes from going to waste. It saves so much. Saves fuel from the fuel needed to drive over there and all that. So that's something that I was made aware of.
No, 100%. I agree. These endeavors are very. May Allah reward everybody that's involved. No doubt, both those sides, the experience and the inexperience. But I've seen firsthand with a lot of incidents, a lot of emergency response stuff. It takes a lot. There's so much that you don't think of. Everybody, every silent observer, or every observer can say, "Oh, I could do it better," or actually, "Well, that's wrong and that's wrong."
Yeah.
But when you're in it, it's a completely different sort of, completely different situation. All you can do is really make excuses for your brothers and sisters and those that you think might be, not doing that great or whatever. Everybody's a critic, so at the end of the day, things are being done, and we would like to think the best of people's intentions. I think it's just incredible, subhanAllah, how, like you mentioned, Allah can strip a man down of everything he owns in a moment. Everything. You've got nothing left.
Which is what will happen when you die as well. You're stripped of everything except your deeds.
Exactly. Imagine you can't even enter your home again. It's gone. Your pockets are empty. You haven't got a phone. It's either on you or it's run out of battery or whatever it is. And that's it. And your family. You could have lost your entire family. And then miracles do happen. Well, obviously, by the permission of Allah, you see those children for babies, 120 hours stuck in the rubble and coming out, alhamdulillah, healthy. And that's another thing. Like, I was just looking at my kids. I was looking at Khalid, the little one, the youngest. I was thinking, subhanAllah, like, it got me emotional, bro, because you just think, you try. The reason I wanted to talk about it this episode is just to take a moment. Obviously, Ramadan's coming up, but we should always think like this anyway, to just take a moment to reflect on the blessings that we do have. Because if these things happen in the world and we, as people who are safe, secure, and surrounded with blessings, don't learn something from it and don't benefit from it in a particular way, then I worry about myself. I'd worry about you. I'd worry about, I'd worry that maybe my Jannah is here. Yani, that Allah's given me everything here and I've got nothing left in the next life. Because if people are tested to that extent, then where are my tests in comparison? Not that I'm asking Allah to test me, because I wouldn't want Allah to test me beyond what I can bear, right? But it's like, subhanAllah, there's people out there that have lost everything, and I'm sitting here nice and comfy expecting Jannah to just, fall on my lap.
That is our test.
That is our test. And this is it. So if we can if we ignore these calamities around us and don't do anything when we hear about them, and don't learn something and don't try and change, then actually people are getting into Jannah and you're just getting left behind. Because actually your Jannah might be here. All of this that Allah has given me, the lights, electricity, the warmth, the technology around me, everything. This could be the blessings. Allah has given me a bit of my portion. This is it. And in the next life, I might not have anything. Right? So no, I think I was talking to my wife earlier, and it was a bit of a personal one, but I'm very, alhamdulillah, I'm very happy with my relationship with my wife. Very, very pleased with our sort of family relationship. And I said to her, do you know what? I said to her, this isn't right. I said, this kind of thing doesn't exist in this world. Do you know what I mean? Like this level of, I don't know, quote unquote perfection doesn't exist. So I said, either I'm going to die, I'm going to die and leave you behind, you're going to die and leave me behind. Because the dunya isn't made for this kind of good stuff to continue. All right, nothing good lasts forever in that sense, right? And it made me think of like my mom and my dad and how their relationship was really strong. And then my dad passed away, because the dunya is made to be as a testing ground. So you have to prepare yourself, appreciate the blessings that you're given, but also be prepared that these blessings could just disappear any moment, because that's what the dunya is about. The dunya isn't about the bliss and the enjoyment. The dunya is about the test. And yes, it's a journey, and we attain that which benefits us, and we try and chase, quote unquote, or work towards that which benefits us in the dunya. But it's just the journey, because the destination is where it's more important, right? But yeah, it's just some of my reflections, bro. And I'm sure you're seeing people all over in person, Yani, that probably have family, that are probably really, really touched, because especially a country like Turkey that has pride in its nation, people have pride in Turkey and pride in their people, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be a double level there. There's going to be the level of, okay, these are my Muslim brothers and sisters, but these are also my countrymen that are under the rubble, and I'm sure.
Definitely. Yeah. And there's a few, I try and remember a few different stories, Annie. One I heard today, yeah. I heard a family, they own an apartment. It's Yani in a fancy area.
Yeah.
And I just heard that they gave it up for someone who lost their home to come and live in it. And they're actually moving out. And I don't know, maybe they have another home somewhere else or something. I don't know what they're going to do. But they gave up for someone to live in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Full house. I heard another one. Yeah. Because, Istanbul's like 20 million people. There's like 20% of not 20%, it's like 80% of the Turkish economy is in Istanbul. So everyone all around Turkey has family members in Istanbul pretty much, yeah? Everyone comes here to work. And so there are people that are like, okay, they might be from Hatay, but they live in Istanbul. So naturally, their family members might come over here, yeah? And I heard of one brother, he's got like a 2-3 bedroom flat, and now he's got 20 family members there living with him, all living together, yani. Yeah, and even I heard there's some projects where people like hosting even strangers, yani, not family. So, yeah, it brings to mind the hadith the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man kana fi hajati akhi, kana Allahu fi hajati." Whoever's, well, how do you translate that? Whoever's helping or in the need, helping at the time of need or whatever for their brother, that Allah will be in his need or help him in his time of need or whatever. So it makes you think like, okay, like I thought this personally. I thought anything could happen to anyone, but I do live in a place where earthquake can happen, right?
Yeah.
So if it happened to me, would I not like someone to, let's say I survived and I've got nowhere, no food, and would I not like someone to give me some soup or give me a heater?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I would like that, right? So because I would like that for me, now I need to like that for them.
Yeah, 100%. And no, 100%. It also like, I don't know if I should say this or if I'm right in saying this, but when times of calamities, things fall into place. In times of prosperity and peace and luxury, there's all this discourse that doesn't really matter, all this bickering, gender wars, this kind of stuff that we always talk about. And then when a calamity strikes, things naturally fall. You don't need to write a book about masculinity when a calamity strikes, because it just happens, right? You don't need to write a book about femininity or a female's role in a time of a calamity, because it just happens. Everyone defaults back to where their natural expertise, their natural skill set. Okay, so the men with naturally stronger, with more, they're out there. I mean, you look at the videos; they're out there. They're digging their way through bare hands. Right, some of them. You see the footage of. I mean, obviously there's mu'awana in all sorts of aspects, but what I want to say is that I commend the men and their bravery in those kind of circumstances, because it's not easy. and the risks are insane. Yeah. And more buildings falling down on you, rubble falling down on you. It's not just that easy. Oh, let me just dig. And
there's so many aftershocks as well.
So many aftershocks. So much, things are balancing by a few bricks or whatever, and you could just make things worse. You see, not that I advise anyone to seek out this kind of footage, but it just comes up, doesn't it? But you see footage of, men that have passed away shielding children, and the children are still alive.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've seen multiple videos of like, men, fathers, older brothers, whatever, shielding children with their body, and they remove. May Allah have mercy on those individuals. They remove the body of that first individual that was shielding, and the baby is still alive. So he used all his, and it just shows
kept him warm, kept him
warm, but also protected him from the rubble, protected him from those initial sort of drops or whatever it may be. And I think, that's what masculinity is about. It's about putting your life on the line, and that bravery that actually comes from deep within to rise up to the challenge, to rise up to what is necessary at the time. And the same for women. The women are doing it. I'm sure the women are doing incredible work. But what I'm saying is that all of that bickering and all of that sort of, we're at each other's throats all the time, and you're a toxic man and you're a toxic female, all this, it just disappears. And I notice that on you see it on social media all the time, but suddenly, all that stuff we've been arguing about it's not important anymore. Let's just focus on this. So I think calamities have a way of realigning our priorities, no doubt, and I'm sure it does for the people as well. Because in peace and prosperity we bicker, don't we?
I saw some real men, bro. Like these kids, they were for like 8 hours, they were taking furniture out of a van and bringing it up to apartments where people had basically, I think people bought furniture to furnish people's houses who are moving to Istanbul from that area. So they cover the cost of that. And someone's got to bring it up. And Istanbul is only apartments, no houses. You're talking about beds and sofas and washing machines, bringing them upstairs. And these kids, I don't know how old they were, but they were men, bro. They were doing that all day, carrying it up, down, this and that. MashaAllah. Yeah.
Allahumma barik. Allahumma barik.
I heard this really Turkish thing. For me, this is Turkish, yeah. There was Al Jazeera, they must have interviewed someone. They're like, some survivor. They're like, look, I lost everything. All I've got is 15 liras in my pocket. I don't even have a cigarette. That's the most Turkish thing.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see, if there's any. But in there's some long-lasting positives that can come out of this, whether it is increased unification, especially considering we were talking the episode prior, or that episode itself, where we released it and the earthquake had already happened, but we recorded it prior. And we were talking a little bit about Turkey and about maybe the bit of xenophobia, didn't want any outsiders, especially when it came to Arabs and the Syrians that were living within. And now both Syria and Turkey have been affected with this, and maybe out of this can sprout a bit more unification between the people.
Maybe, because I know people were donating stuff to send to Syria specifically, like they knew it was going to Syria.
Yeah,
so that's true. And obviously the Turkish government's always on board with that stuff, but sometimes with the people is a question mark. But
but usually calamities, like look at America after 9/11. Those few days, Americans that talk about America after 9/11, they just think never seen America so unified. Everyone was coming together after that. Obviously, Muslimin were a big target, but I'm talking about in terms of Americans themselves. They were very unified after 9/11 because a calamity unifies people. So I'd like to think this is an opportunity and I don't think the Turkish or the Syrian people will forget the help that they've had from all around the world and the Ummah all around the world. And I
Definitely,
think it's reassuring.
A lot of people move quickly, I remember the day after, the UAE said we're giving $100 million. But then you had people like the UK, they said, I think in 5 days, 6 days later, they're like, we'll give £3 million. and they sent 60 people over or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's look at like Charlie Hebdo in France and all that stuff that came out.
Oh, that was mad.
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
was
see the thing, but I don't even want to see it.
No, you don't need to. But I think what I did from that, what I realised, for those unaware, it was a French caricature of taking the mick essentially of the suffering and the plight of the people. But what I did see was a lot of more secular Turkish accounts were outraged, shocked. How could you do this? And now like a lot of people, their eyes are now open to the reality of who actually cares and who doesn't. And it's the Muslim brothers and sisters and the religious ones that you bashed for God knows how long. They're the first to support you. And actually the West that you sucked up to so much and you wanted to be like, they didn't really care as much. So yeah, it's an eye opener for all of us to stick close and support each other.
One thing I was wondering is how this would impact the elections, because obviously elections are in like 3 months.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I thought that.
Obviously, a lot of people. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I don't read the Turkish media because I think that would stress me out. But obviously, naturally, people complain about the government response no matter how good it is, really, because there's only so much you can do, yani.
Yeah,
but I don't know. My impression is pretty good, yani, pretty fast and stuff, but I don't know. I don't really know the details. But it's a crucial time, man. It's a crucial time.
Death toll from Turkey, Syria quakes past 35,000 1 week later. Just looking at a few headlines. Yeah, it's a lot, subhanAllah. It is a lot.
There's an article, I think, was it BBC or Al Jazeera, where they interviewed a few people in Istanbul, asking them like, oh, are you worried about the earthquake, this and that? And a few people, like in some local WhatsApp groups, they were like panicking a bit and stuff. But my perspective is, if you're that worried, like you're actually really worried, then don't live in Turkey in the first place. Like, if it's going to affect you any like that, then there's no avoiding it. It doesn't matter your building is earthquake proof, earthquake resistant. If you're worried, and and then if you are gonna live here, then look, bro, like we're all gonna die somehow, and you don't want to be dumb, right? So living in an earthquake zone in like a 50-year-old building, when you can afford to live in a newer one, just don't do stupid stuff. But other than that, it's like, what can you do, yani? Like. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I was talking with my wife about this, and I was just like, I mean, what am I gonna do, honey? Like, what, I'm gonna escape death by leaving a earthquake zone, or I don't know. Like, relax. Actually, maybe it'll be good. Maybe I can die shaheed by living here.
Of course, but you can't blame people, when you yourself, you've got children and stuff, and all you can think about is just protecting them and trying to do the best for them, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, qadr Allah in all matters. Allah's qadr overcomes us all. But I feel so bad for those children now left, obviously orphans with no family, no parents, no nothing.
Yeah.
Another thing, one thing I must admit, I was talking to my family about this, my mum and stuff. We were seeing a lot of sort of Westerners talking about, when I say Westerners, I'm talking about non-Muslims, English people, whatever people, talking about, I want to adopt a Syrian baby or a Turkish baby, whatever. Do you know what? My advice to people that want to adopt from abroad is actually, maybe, I don't know if these initiatives exist, but maybe you should fund or sponsor an orphan over there. So like there could be a parent, there could be hypothetically yourself, or your neighbor has space for a child, an orphan, but might not have the funds. Okay.
Yeah.
And we should be sponsoring children over there, not just plucking them from their environment, from their country, from their people, from everything, from their religion in some cases, and just I don't know, just to kind of stroke our own ego in a way, because some of these people they just want to stroke their own ego. I guess yes, we can't judge everybody's intention, but there should be there should be initiatives, I think, first and foremost, primarily to sponsor orphans and sponsor that process, the adoption or the fostering process in those countries that already exist. I think there's so many people that obviously would want to have children and just can't afford it, or want to support and can't. And obviously now there's paperwork and all sorts of stuff that goes in the way, right? Red tape and all that sort of stuff.
Isn't there a lack of foster parents in the UK anyway?
There's a meeting next week about it, Muslim in this city. Yeah. The local council are trying to encourage Muslims to foster and to adopt and all this sort of stuff. There's definitely a lack, and I appreciate people's intention to want to do that. I'm not saying it's completely wrong. What I am saying though is that the child themselves, depending on their age, especially, could be they've already been through a lot. I think the first and easiest and most practical step to get them settled as quickly as possible is to find a family there, that process, sponsor that process from here. Whether people will be committed long term to continue sponsoring, Allah knows best, but there are a lot of sponsorship programs. You can, I've seen them before, you can sponsor children from here without having to necessarily pluck them from their environment and cause all of that upset, so to speak. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think we should focus on doing that, because when you have children, your heart goes soft for kids, and you just want to you understand it a bit better,
That's there are many people who lose family members maybe even when they're young, but this circumstance of maybe losing parents, siblings, uncles, aunts, all in one go, it's quite
absolutely
big blow.
Absolutely. And that goes back to what we were saying earlier about look at the tests of other people, subhanAllah. Look at the tests of other people, compare that to the tests that you faced. I'm sure both of us have had very difficult times in our lives, but both of us could also look at this and think, ooh, I haven't had it that bad. Suddenly my problems in perspective are a lot less. So what's my fate in the afterlife? If there's people in the dunya being tested like this in one night, where do I sit on the hierarchy of slaves of Allah? Am I right at the bottom, or am I somewhere in the middle, or where do I sit? So it gives you an opportunity to reevaluate yourself, no doubt. That's all I can think about with regards to calamities like this. Count your blessings. SubhanAllah, look at them. A lot of them didn't. Well, obviously, 35,000 of them didn't make it to the next Ramadan. I'm sure they were already prepping. You know what our people are like, bro. Start prepping for Ramadan way in advance. So in terms of I'm going to buy the zayt, and I'm going to buy the zaytun, and I'm going to buy. So SubhanAllah, absolutely thought-provoking stuff. Wallah.
Yeah, the power of it is crazy. I saw this video. I think it was the road from Adana to Gaziantep or something. And the highway is, imagine like a 8 or 10 lane road. And it's just like one is here and the other one's there. Like just the whole land moved, Yeah. And that's actually, I think that road, that's what stopped a lot of the aid getting through, because it was cut off. Yeah. I read today, I think Hatay airport is open again from today.
Okay.
So the people must be working so hard over there to get everything going. And one thing is I thought about, it's like, this is not like a normal, maybe not like other disasters, because, the people, the longer they stay under that rubble in the cold, the longer, the less likelihood, if you like, they're going to make it. So it's really, you're in a rush, but then at the same time, you got to be very delicate. And so it's very difficult, man. I heard a company, maybe their shipping company or something, they donated 2 ships. So they had these 2 ships, they sent them over nearby, and it's like they can fit 1,500 people on each one. So you can live on it, because people need.
Right, yeah.
Because people are living in, I think the army had 30,000 tents. Then you've got these ships, then you've got people just living in cars. I heard that so many times, people just living in their car. Then you've got maybe you heard Qatar sending over these cabins, 10,000 cabins.
Yeah.
So people are just trying to make. Also, the government, the Turkish government, they said that for the next, I don't know, month at least or something, the all university dormitories in the whole country are going to be used to house people, and universities are going online.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's like, maybe they had that as a plan anyway or something, but that's I thought that was quite good, creative way of doing it.
It's probably the rollback, probably what COVID kind of allowed to happen before.
Exactly,
The online stuff, yeah. So that
and
switch might have been quite
I
seamless.
thought they were doing that with schools as well, but it seems not. It's just the uni dorms. So
Right.
yeah, but then I guess that's the thing with Turkey as well. It's like a big country, so many other cities, places you can go to and stuff. There were hotels as well, just saying, okay, we're putting aside 20 rooms just to house people,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
No, of
yeah,
course.
there's a lot of, like really a lot of people helping in all different ways that they can.
Yeah, that's the vast majority, isn't it? I've seen a couple of negative things here and there, but there's no need to focus or mention those. But always, focus on the positives bit in the land. Like, if anyone's listening to this and hasn't donated, literally every single charity, notable charity, reputable charity is raising money and trying to. Oh, my son just stormed in. Every single reputable charity is trying to, raise money for that cause. So I'm not going to put any specific links, but I'm sure.
I saw Elmfeed raised £2 million, was it, in literally like 2 days or something?
Something phenomenal. Allah Mubarak. Yeah. Absolutely. That's big for us.
I think the response. Has been something I've not really seen before.
I don't know what. I don't know what. I can't. I can't explain it. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's a natural disaster. I don't know. Maybe people get a bit suspicious when it's political? Obviously a lot of the stuff we've been raising money for in the past has been caused by an entity, whether it's airstrikes or war or whatever. I don't know.
Maybe it's just it is actually a really big event.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It is. Yani, that amount of damage happened in Syria probably across years.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like spread across years. And this happened in a day.
Yeah.
So it really is, Yani, a big deal. I'll tell you another really Turkish thing. I was in the charity center and they've got all these boxes. Okay, this one says kids jackets. This one says, I don't know, rice, food pack, whatever. I saw another one that says cat food.
Oh my goodness, yeah, subhanallah.
So they're even sending cat food over for the cats.
Yeah. Oh, we just make dua for them and make dua for the workers, the people that are actually, 24/7 at it. It's,
I was imagining, imagine you're there, yeah, and you're freezing, and you've been at it for whatever 2 days nonstop, yeah, and your hands are gonna fall off from the cold, but you can't stop. You literally can't stop because the people there, where it's life and death. For you, like, I don't know, you could maybe lose a finger or something from the
no, of
thing.
Course, yeah.
But when you think about it, it's like, no, for example, you can hear someone down there. You can't stop.
Yeah, you can't, no. And of course, and not just that, but there is the guilt of trying to, I can imagine the guilt of an individual worker who is hungry and tired and wants to sit down, but can't because everybody else is still going, right?
Yeah.
And, some people will naturally collapse and have to be forced to take a break. But no, there is that, and look, we see a lot of the videos that come out. We see the good news. We see, this person was saved. We see this. There's a lot that obviously isn't being shown, which you can imagine. The bodies, the disfigurement, all sorts. I don't want to go into detail, but your imagination. This is a calamity where people die, death and destruction all around you. The smell of bodies, the smell of the sights, the children that I don't want to. But it's real. It's a real thing for some people. This may be their first sort of experience that will live with them for the rest of their lives. They will have nightmares for the rest of their lives about what they've dealt with, right? So when you say it's a big thing, it is a big, serious thing for a life-changing event for everybody involved.
Yeah, everyone will remember this, Yani. At least like in Turkey and Syria, everyone's
100%.
Even
100%.
Lebanon was affected. I don't know to what extent,
Oh
but
yes,
definitely there
yeah,
was
yeah.
damage and stuff.
Yeah, and all these countries have their difficulties and already had like Lebanon, like Syria, Turkey, to maybe a lesser extent. We're already facing huge difficulties prior to this. So,
Yeah.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
that's another thing. In Turkey, the cost of living has gone through the roof. And so you would imagine some of these people are just about surviving. And then, okay, but maybe the fact that they had a house, they own the house, they're not paying rent and all that, but now it's gone. You can
Yeah, yeah,
imagine these kind of scenarios, or they're just, making it, and then their job's gone because the whole business has collapsed, the building's gone, so.
yeah. No,
And may
100%.
Allah make it a way for them to come closer to Allah, not further from Him.
For everyone, yeah, for everyone. Because I'll say it, we said it before, and I'll say it again. If we, the ones who are comfortable, don't learn anything from this and don't thank Allah for what we have, and ask Allah to preserve us, it's just pointless. Like, our life is pointless. Everything we have is just distraction. All these blessings around us are absolute distractions. And there's nothing. It's not worth anything really in the afterlife. We haven't learned anything. We haven't. So yeah.
Another thing I realized is the impact of helping with your hands rather than money, or on top of with money, right? Because whenever you give that £10, that £100, giving that money, it needs to translate into whatever food getting to someone, and that requires a volunteer usually to whether to buy it or to pack it or to drive it over there.
Yeah.
And so that's something I feel I was deprived of, or I deprived myself of, or whatever. Especially growing up in the UAE, there are not many opportunities for that. But I would just say to everyone, Yani, don't think about how you can help with your time and energy, or even skills, on top of money. Because every time you spend money, someone somewhere needs to volunteer their time, energy to translate that into actually getting something done. And often, the more people that would be willing to do that, the faster things can happen as well.
Yeah, that's an opportunity also to praise the younger people, because they get, obviously they get a lot of stick, teenagers and stuff, always targeted by those younger, those older than them. But they are, they're the ones probably with the most ability, the most free time, quote unquote, to be there and support. And I'm sure the vast majority of people that are helping, or a huge number of people that are helping and they're on the ground, are those younger people. They'll have the energy, they'll have the free time, they'll have the manpower. So may Allah bless them and allow this to be a shining light for them on the Yawm al-Qiyamah, right? Every single piece of rubble that they pick up, may Allah reward them a millionfold. This is an opportunity.
With earthquakes, when I moved to Turkey, I thought an earthquake is okay, you feel there's an earthquake, and then you go out the house, right? You go out and you go to some open space, and then in an open space you should be okay. But then I realized not now, I don't know, a few months ago, that there's no time to go out of the house. It's literally, it's like a 10-20 second event, right? You do not have time to go, unless you're on the ground floor, maybe first floor, not even first floor, you're not getting out, right? You have to do what you can inside of the house, actually, so it's quite, there's no running from it, basically, Annie, for the most part.
Yeah, especially when you've got, like you said, apartments. Majority is apartments, right? So it's not like a bungalow or whatever. I mean, calamities occur all over, but this is definitely, there's fires, there's all sorts that can happen. I'm trying to bring it back home to those. I mean, you're in Turkey, but for everyone else listening, might not be in an earthquake zone. That is known as an earthquake zone. It doesn't mean that a similar inescapable calamity doesn't strike your home, right? We saw what happened in Grenfell in London not too long ago. So those people equally were trapped. It'll be interesting, like you said, to see where we go from here and what we can learn going forward. That's all I've got to say on the matter, I'm afraid. I think
Don't be afraid.
I won't be. Well, I will when you breathe like that. La ilaha illallah. Oh, goodness.
Did you see that video of that Syrian kid filming himself under the rubble?
He's about a teenager, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, he said if he doesn't this, if you see this video, it means I got out. All right.
Yeah. So, bro, maybe I'm not good with ages, but he looked like just like 11, 12 or something. Is that not? He looked older than that. Because the way he was acting, like, this guy's a man.
Oh, I thought he was about 15.
Well, maybe he was 15, but I'm saying his conduct, the way he carried himself was like, mashallah, yani.
Yeah. SubhanAllah, yeah. What do you do, bro? Some of the first videos that were coming out were really difficult to watch. Not that I share this. I mean, it's social media. It just comes up, doesn't it? But like that first morning when you woke up, some of the video, because that's before any efforts have really been, any machineries come in, any heavy duty stuff's come in, any organized responses come in. Those are just the people that survived are in and around the area, trying to save people. And that's where a lot of the shock came in, because that's another thing. That's probably why as well, bro. Calamities such as this, like think of the war in Syria, there were 10, 11, 12, maybe more. How many years now? Has it been 12 years?
12 or 13.
So 12 or 13 years ago in the Arab world, probably didn't have the phones that we have now, right? If you think about it, Arab Spring, that kind of era, yeah, we had iPhones here, but you always know that like the Arab world is usually about, at that time at least, was about 5 years, minimum 5 years back in terms of tech, maybe more. Majority would still have. What was I watching the other day? I was watching a documentary about Quran memorization. It was a Western documentary. It was called Quran in the Heart. It was documentary.
That's Western.
It's definitely all the producers all had Western names and stuff. But I think, and the way they spelled Quran was with a K, and that always is a dead giveaway to me.
The Quran.
The Quran. But no, what I noticed in that was actually it was filmed 10 years ago. It came out. But everybody on that, like in Egypt at the time, they're recording their kids with like a Sony Ericssons and stuff like that. So yeah, pre-smartphone era. So that's what made me think. So actually, back then, documentation of all these calamities, and social media the way it is, wouldn't necessarily impact or reach us as much now. But now, the whole world is pretty much at the same level when it comes to smart devices. Or at least the quote unquote, the developing world, so to speak, is definitely accelerated in smartphone usage and stuff. So it's a long-winded way of me saying that the footage that we see is literally one-to-one. Like it comes out and we see it immediately. We see these calamities. We're interconnected way more than we were 10, 15 years ago, in HD, in 4K, in live stream, and I think that's that connects us even deeper. The Muslim Ummah, funnily enough, they say, "Oh, it's a small village. The world has become a village." Well, the Muslim Ummah has become even more of a tighter-knit village because of this, because of technology connecting us. This podcast wouldn't have been done 10, 15 years ago. We wouldn't have had the bandwidth. So I think that's another benefit, subhanAllah, that has bolstered our response as an ummah, and bolstered, for an organization or a group, a tiny group like Enfield to really raise 2 million. I say group, it's probably, I remember that speaking to the brother that was behind it, but maybe now it's a bit bigger. But certainly, 5 people maybe maximum. Allah knows best. To raise that much money is hard. It's incredible.
Some people hate that, bro. They hate to see Muslims coming together like that.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
They hate it, and I love it.
I must admit, as much as we do look at we focus on the bad and stuff, I think there's been a lot of that the past few years. There is a lot to be happy for, to be Muslim in this day and age. Whether it is I think it's just it's kind of cool to be Muslim now. Do you know what I mean? We got out of that kind of 9/11 rut, and now Muslims walk with pride in the street, and Muslims have a voice again, and Muslims are representing themselves in all areas, whether it's the academic arena with groups like Sapiens Institute, or these debates that go on wherever it is, or whether it is in sports,
Andrew
the pride
Tate.
of being Muslim, whether it is in discourse like that. It doesn't really matter whether you agree or disagree. The fact is, Muslims have a voice. I was drawing this comparison with like maybe our youth and that kind of muting of the Muslim and the 9/11 era and the war on terror and all this sort of stuff. I was listening to we had Mohammed Jalal on the podcast before, but his podcast is at the moment Thinking Muslim. He had Mu'adh Zumbeg on, and he was just referencing like how scared Muslims were to invite him and speak to him prior because of the war on terror and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But now, like, we will challenge the status quo and we'll speak for our rights. And we don't, and we will loudly say, well, we're neither right or left. We're not part of you and we're not part of this. Like, we'll tell the left that we don't align with all of your stuff. We'll tell the right we don't align with all of your stuff. Whilst before, it kind of felt like maybe 5-10 years ago, we were very much nested in the left because they were the only people that would accept us and defend us, right?
Well, think about it, bro. Some of the people who are, for example, playing out content and stuff online, they were born around 9/11. Like they didn't have, they have no memory of it whatsoever.
Well,
you know?
100%.
So naturally they have a different way of thinking, and they won't have so much, censorship or whatever of themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think, it's a combination of so many factors. You've got people becoming Muslim, high profile people becoming Muslim. You've got sports person like Khabib, for example, and
what was that video going around? That Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and who's the other guy? He's like another NBA like big time guy who's not Muslim, I think. He's like talking to the other guy on TV, and he's like, "Salam alaikum, brother."
Yeah. It's was it Shaq?
Maybe, yes.
Shaq O'Neal, yeah. The thing is, bro,
Shaquille O'Neal's not Muslim, right? But he just said it. Oh,
no,
he is?
Yeah, he's Muslim. I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, I know he says he's Muslim, and he is Muslim in that regard.
Okay.
I don't know if he follows any particular denomination or whatever, but let's just say he says he's Muslim, right?
So that's why he said it. Okay, I thought he was just okay. Nice.
Yeah. Actually, someone mentioned that they met him and prayed with him once on Twitter. So yeah. No, what I was going to say is like, I don't know if this is a bias because I am Muslim and I notice Muslim stuff more and the algorithm feeds it to me. But I do honestly, I look at the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I look at the signs of the hour. I step back and try and look at the world, and it's like Islam just pops up on the news everywhere. It's not like this thing that's just disappeared. Like, it's very much center stage. It's a very much center stage entity within the world, geopolitics, whatever it is, which reinforces to me the truth of what the Prophet ﷺ came with. Because after so many years, not only has it not disappeared, it is very much center stage in so many different things.
More and more mainstream.
More
but
and more.
not mainstream in terms of dumbing it down. Like, it is quite unwatered down, even the mainstream. Yeah, because like maybe when the world was a bit more disconnected, you could get away with saying, "Oh, I'm not saying this is the truth," but one person could say, "Well, what's Islam's role in X, Y, Z?" A medieval European who is, I don't know, working in some sort of kingdom and collecting, I don't know, whatever. You know what I mean? Like some farmer in England, medieval England. What's Islam got to do with him? In that regard. But as we develop further and further into the future, and the world gets more interconnected, suddenly Islam is everybody's business. Tommy Robinson in Luton, Islam is his business, and it's the right-wing guy's business down there, and it's the trans activist's business, and it's Andrew Tate's business, and it's the UFC fighters. It's everybody's business. Everyone's got an opinion on what Islam is. Yeah, everybody does. It really, truly has reached everybody's home in the sense that every Tom, Dick, and Harry, even whether they think they know what Islam is or don't, they have an opinion on Islam. Yeah. You know what happened to me this morning, actually? I went on, not this morning, mustn't have been this morning, but I went on Instagram, and there was a reel. I pressed the reel, and it was one of them typical kind of bodybuilder kind of things, all right? So the guy seems to be showing his morning routine or something. So the guy, naturally being a bodybuilder kind of Instagrammer, he's like fully shirtless. He's wearing just like shorts, very short shorts, like, okay, so he gets out of bed, he does this, I don't know, drinks water, this and that. I'm like,
Right.
okay, it's one of those types, Yani.
Yeah.
Then he prays.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that guy's Muslim, yeah. and I actually had to watch it again because it's like what he was wearing was like not acceptable, yeah. But
Right, yeah.
but then he had this little bit where he put on a thobe thing and he prayed, you know.
Like that. Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
mashallah.
And that's the thing. It's that transition from silence to pride that has
Yeah.
really had an impact.
Exactly,
you know?
that's true. Because you would imagine even 5 or 10 years ago, that guy would be not putting that little clip in his reel.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. You know, it used to be, tell your colleagues I'm going to the toilet instead of tell your colleagues I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
pray, right? From Mo to Mohammed to that kind of thing. So, no doubt. Yeah, it's a fascinating time to be alive. Allah knows best what the next 5, 10, 15 years will look like if we're still around it. But look, if anything, anyone listening to this, if you're not praying, if you're not, you're curious about Islam, whatever it is, like, now's the time. You've heard it from here. Now's the time. Take it as a
And
sign.
for the better or worse, there are less and less excuses, for these things, to be open about your Islam or to be praying or to pray in public or whatever. There are less and less excuses, You
Yeah,
can't,
100%.
it's not, you're not in New York the day after 9/11. It's not that, it's not that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Even when I was in the UK recently, I prayed a couple times in public, and this time when I was praying in public, I was like, yeah, people are gonna know what I'm doing. But before I used to think like they'll be like, you all right, mate?
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. God, yeah, I was in Tesco's today, and I'm walking with a bit of shopping, and as I'm walking, some old geezer, he stares at me like this, bro. And he just points his finger right at my face like that. He goes, your beard. I like that beard. That's a nice beard. I was like, thank you very much, mate. I just kind of kept it moving, right? But it was like that kind of like I'm ready for that. Do you know what I mean? I'm ready for that conversation, and I've had those conversations before. But whether I don't know what that guy's intention was, whether he liked it or not, whatever. But it's about having that pride to just carry on your day. Because back 10 years ago, that could have rattled you for the rest of your day, rest of your week. Like that, just those kind of interactions. Like, oh no, I'm sticking out. Oh, maybe I should shave this. Or do you get me? Nah, now it's part of your identity, and it's it's easy. It's still easier in a Muslim majority neighborhood, Muslim majority cities and stuff. But down here, it's not like that. In fact, the particular town I was in isn't even the town I'm in now. It was a very ain't no Muslims in that town, no masjid in that town. But yeah, walk with pride, bidnillah. Should we wrap it up, bro?
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله